And don't worry about the politically incorrect. I'm going to say something politically incorrect, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know. Okay, where do I start? I was only told like 10 minutes before we all came in that I was going to actually speak now. But basically, it felt like you'd been stalking me because you basically described me with the bipolar 1 and the borderline personality disorder. Just to give you a bit of a background, I was... like when I was a teenager, it's like high school, everything was fine. I was like I achieved very well. I was, normal's not a word I like to use, but, the problem hadn't presented itself yet. And then when I got to varsity, I just started acting out, very suicidal, lots of drugs, lots of alcohol, and this behavior, especially the aggression as well, getting into bar fights. And eventually my mother had to take me to a clinic because I had to be restrained at the police station, and they said, you've got to take her to a clinic or we're going to keep her in jail. And that's when they did. Sorry, it's a bit low. That's when the psychiatrist there actually diagnosed me with bipolar, because I'd been seeing psychologists since my dad passed away when I was about 14. But they always said I was just depressed, and, it's just, I need to get over that. But my mother, she knew there was something else, and I could also feel it, like, I would act fine on the outside, but I could only mask, how I was really wanting to act out for so long. So when I got the diagnosis, I obviously decided then to stay at the clinic and find out about it more. And in terms of my family's reaction, my mother was just so relieved, and like she knew what was wrong with me, and once you know what the problem is, then you can kind of find a solution. But that's still something that we struggle with, because she thinks there's a solution where there's not. It's a constant battle. So then obviously with the medication they put me on and the therapy I was on, I got a little bit better for a while. I finished my articles, and then when I was done with my articles, I was bored. Well, this is what I think now. I was bored, so now I decided to actually instead go work at Hooters, because I was on a heavy manic, and like you said, I didn't want to sleep. I was hyperactive all the time. I couldn't sit at a desk. I mean, like, there's only so much crazy you can hide under a work suit. And I just, I wasn't fitting into the corporate world. So obviously being in the hospitality, bartending type of industry, then the drugs got worse. There was about a year of my life that I was sleeping once a week. And I would see shadows like that weren't there. Like the bartenders, it was like there was other bartenders working with me, but there was no one there. But I just said, be nice to them and they'll be nice to you. Like that's how bad it was. I got used to them, like that type of psychosis. And I got that aggression, and I was arrested for assault GBH. You would never say it, like the tiny little girl. But the rage just got so bad, where I was institutionalized like once a year. And it was always also, when you said about the seasonal thing, around June, July, it's when I crashed. So like if I didn't get arrested, after these manics of not sleeping for a year, or once a week a year, I would have this crash, that's what freaks me out now when I start feeling manic, because it can be very, very productive. I mean, I'm a financial service provider now, and a lot of it is sales. So my manic works to my advantage, but I'm like petrified of the crash. When I get super manic and my wall is full of marketing ideas from the middle of the night, like I know on Saturday I'm gonna like crash and be really depressed. So, but because I still constantly see my therapist I've been seeing for 6 years, I've got the coping mechanisms to identify it early, and then implements my 10-point list of what I do before I get to a stage of complete like self or other person destruction. My notes. It's a mania, okay? The borderline, so that's obviously was bipolar 1. I mean, I was mostly manic, but then I would have the crashes, obviously, lack of sleep. And the psychosis once was so bad that I woke up in Helen Joseph. It had been 3 weeks. I'd been to all the private hospitals in Joburg, They'd all kicked me out because I had this violent behavior. I kept waking up, attacking people. They would tranquilize me, take me to another hospital. And eventually I woke up shackled and gagged and tied down to a bed in Helen Joseph, and I didn't remember what had happened. And that was because I hadn't slept for 9 days. And that was without any use of stimulants. I only really used the stimulants when the manic would naturally go away. And then I'm like, oh, I want to feel like that again. So, what else is going to make me feel like that? And then that obviously got worse and worse, the drug problem as well. And then my most recent stint in rehab, they brought up this borderline personality. And the unreliability, the volatility, that's also me to a T, because I kind of felt when they diagnosed me with bipolar that, my moods weren't that long because I could snap like this. And then that's where the borderline fell in. So I relate to that a lot as well. Those volatile relationships, like very intense but very short. And you tend to get involved with the same types of people, which got me into a lot of trouble in my life. But instead of, I've learned to control it to a degree, but I know it'll never go away. So I've worked my life around the disorder. I've found a job that embraces how I am and the crazy uniqueness, So it's not all like doom and gloom, but it took a lot of work to turn it around. Last year I was at a point where I was, basically waiting for the drugs to just kill me off slowly. But if you have that little bit of strength to just turn it around, when you start seeing the progress and you start reaping the rewards of, looking at it as a positive thing, not as a negative, horrible, life-threatening disorder, then, then it just gets you on a roll. Unfortunately, then you get manic again. So I think I've pretty much, I could talk for 90 minutes, but we don't have that time. And so, thank you for letting me speak.
Great, Stacey. Any questions for Stacey, Leigh?